Hey guys, Basson Reynolds. And unfortunately, Miami Dolphins no longer undefeated. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 27-15. And despite the scoreboard, it was a lot closer than what the scoreboard is saying. Going over some quick things. Total yards, pretty much yard for yard on both sides of the ball for both teams. 378 for Dolphins, 371 for the Bengals. Turnover battle, Bengals won it 2-0. Time possession, 28 minutes, 25 seconds for the Dolphins, 31 minutes, 35 seconds for the Bengals. First downs, Dolphins had 20, Bengals had 16. What does that tell you? The Bengals were a little bit more efficient with their possessions. So, what does this mean now for the Miami Dolphins? Oh, you lost a big game that could have really propelled you forward into, one being 4-0, and then, down the line, easier stretch of the schedule could have been a lot more beneficial. I know a loss is not the end of the world, but it's also, sets them back. Let's go over the scoring summary real quick. Bengals started off with a Joe Mixon 5-yard touchdown run, and Dolphins followed up with a field goal. But besides that, before the field goal, Dolphins were driving down the field, and in the red zone, Chase Edmonds wide open, drops the ball. Really unfortunate for the Dolphins. So resulting in 3 points for them on that drive when they could have tied it up 7-7 and maybe could have been a completely different game. Anyways, following the Dolphins' second field goal to make it 6-7, T. Higgins busts open a wide open touchdown. I wouldn't say wide open, but tight coverage, beats Xavier Howard, and goes scot-free to the end zone. And then following that, an unfortunate sequence of events. I'm warning you guys, this is not a image that you possibly want to see. I know if you guys watched the game, it was very gut-wrenching to watch, especially this play. But Tua got concussed again. It's unfortunate. And just giving you guys a forewarning, this image here is very graphic. So if you want to skip through 15 seconds, go ahead. And you can do that right now. But yeah, Tua got concussed on a sack play where he should have been able to throw away the ball. But even then, so he probably would have still been brought down to the ground the same way. Good news is that he's been discharged from the hospital and, he's been able to move all his extremities. But the way his fingers, curled up and he was just real tense, that just shows that he has possibly some nerve damage. So it's unfortunate because a lot of this Dolphin season is hinging on the fact of if Tua can be the guy. And not saying he's not the guy, concussions are unfortunate part of the game. It's really, really bad when it happens to your starting quarterback or any player, no matter that fact. But yeah, that's what happened in this game. And really, after that fact, it really took the wind out of the Dolphins' sails because they were able to move the ball, but just not well enough. Following Tua going out, Chase Edmonds was able to score a 7-yard touchdown pass from Teddy Bridgewater. And we'll talk about Teddy and his performance in a bit. So, third quarter, James Sanders field goal. And then 2 field goals from Evan McPherson to make it 15-20. And then following that, Teddy throws an interception, a boneheaded interception, honestly. And then Hayden Hurst, 2-yard touchdown pass. Those are the scoring summaries for this Miami Dolphins versus Cincinnati Bengals game. Now, with that being said, let's get into the stats. So, as you guys know, Tua did go up. Tua's stat line when he was in the game was 8 of 14, 110 yards, 1 interception, sacked once for a loss of 10 yards, the eventful sack. And then Teddy Bridgewater came in. Not a horrible performance, but sold the game in the very end. If we go play by play, but I'll go over the stats real quick. 14 of 23, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not horrible, but not great either. The interception really just deflated the entire game because they followed up with that touchdown that made the difference in this game. Joe Burrow had 20 completions for 31 attempts, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked once for a loss of 6 yards. Tyler Boyd also threw the ball for one time for 23 yards on a crucial down. It was a 3rd and 11, and he found Jamar Chase. Running game stepped up a bit in this game. 15 carries from Raheem Mostert, 69 yards. Longest was 25. Teddy Bridgewater, 1 carry, 11 yards. Chase Edmonds, 5 carries, 6 yards. Tyreek Hill had 1 carry for a loss of 1. Joe Mixon had 24 carries for the Bengals, 61 yards, 1 touchdown. Longest was 7, so a lot of just gritty yards from Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow, 5 carries, 6 yards. And then Samaje Perine had 1 carry for no gain. Tyreek Hill had a tremendous game, and so did T. Higgins. We'll get to him. Tyreek Hill, 10 receptions, 160 yards. Longest was 64 off of 14 targets. So Tyreek had himself quite the game. Trent Sherfield had 4 receptions, 55 yards. He stepped up in a big way. Jalen Waddle, looks like he's been dealing with a groin injury again. 2 receptions, 39 yards. Mike Gesicki, 2 receptions, 23. Chase Edmonds, 2 receptions, 14. Raheem Mostert, 2 receptions, 12. For the Bengals, T. Higgins was the leading receiver with 7 receptions, 124 yards, 1 touchdown. Longest was 59, which was that touchdown pass off of 9 targets. Jamar Chase, 4 receptions, 81 yards. Tyler Boyd, 2 receptions, 47. Taden Hurst, 3 receptions, 27 yards, 1 touchdown. And the longest was 19, which was one of the opening plays for the Bengals where Dolphins couldn't seem to tackle him. Mitchell Woodcox, 1 reception, 18 yards. And then Joe Mixon, 4 receptions, 13 yards. Really unfortunate sequence of events for the Dolphins here. Leading tackler for the Dolphins was Jerome Baker, 7 total tackles, 5 solo. Kader Kohu, 6 total tackles, 6 solo. He was all over the field. Duke Riley, 6 total, 3 solo. 1 tackle for a loss. Key stats: Christian Wilkins had a QB hit. Jalen Phillips had a sack, tackle for a loss, and 2 QB hits. Nick Needham had a pass deflection, and that's just about it. Not the best game from the defense. I know they held them beforehand before the interception. I'm counting everything before the interception. It was a 20-15 game, a 5-point game, even with the quarterback going down. So that being said, defense gave up big plays, especially Xavier Howard, who was also still dealing with that nagging groin injury. So not looking good right now in the terms of the long-term future for the Dolphins. Cincinnati Bengals, Jermaine Pratt had 9 total tackles, 6 solo. Logan Wilson, 7 total, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Jesse Bates, 6 solo, 6 total overall, 1 pass deflection. BJ Hill, 1 pass deflection. Von Bell, 2 pass deflections. BJ Hill also had 2 QB hits. One of them was very unfortunate. Mike Hilton, 1 QB hit. Sam Hubbard had 2 tackles for a loss, 3 QB hits. Josh Tupu had a sack, a tackle for a loss, QB hit. And Akeem Davis Gator had 1 pass deflection. Trey Hendrickson, 2 QB hits. Defense for the Bengals were a tight-knit group, really aggressive, really in the Dolphins' grill, and really made it tough for the Dolphins. Von Bell, 2 interceptions, 46 yards on the returns. Just unfortunate. The 201 was underthrown to Tyreek Hill. Yes, you can go all in the comments and say, yeah, underthrown ball. I get it. He needs to throw out that ball either a little bit earlier or try to throw it out further, because if he hits Tyreek Hill in stride, he's gone. Touchdown Dolphins. The second one was a boneheaded interception caused by none other but Teddy Bridgewater. Kick returns, Raheem Mostert, 2 returns for 42 yards. No kick returns for Cincinnati. Javion Holland had a punt return for 6 yards. Trent Taylor had a punt return for the Bengals, 23 yards. Jason Sanders, 3 for 4 on field goals, 0 for 1 on extra point, totaling to 9 total points. Evan McPherson, 2 for 2 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. Thomas Moore said 3 punts, 150 yards. Longest was 66. Kevin Huber, 4 total punts, 159 yards. 3 of them were in the 20. Longest was 48 yards. In terms of standings, I know things will change throughout the week, but the Dolphins remain on top of the AFC East, 3-1. Buffalo, 2-1. New York Jets and New England Patriots, 1-2. Bengals moved up to 3rd place in the division. Cleveland and Baltimore are both 2-1. Cincinnati's 2-2, and Pittsburgh is 1-2. All right, now that all of this is said, what does this mean for the Dolphins? The loss it means a lot, because not only did you lose the game, but you lost your starting quarterback. Real unfortunate. the way it happened, the way how things have gone throughout this week. Uh, First of all, our plays were getting released online. Um, Got to tighten up that security at that practice. I don't know what else to say, but really unfortunate sequence of events to start off the trip in Miami, in Cincinnati. Then, there's still this prolonging of the concussion protocol if the Dolphins followed it last week against the Bills, and then Tua gets another concussion. So just hit after hit. It's not very good for the Dolphins. They're 3-1 now. They still are in sole possession of the division no matter what if the Bills win or lose on Sunday. But it's definitely puts a chink in the Dolphins' armor. And the uncertainty of Tua's return is another chink in that armor. So it's very unfortunate. Reasons why the Dolphins didn't win the game. I wouldn't say Tua wasn't and was protected. A lot of cheap hits on Tua. Very unfortunate. The wide receivers got open. That wasn't an issue. Run game started moving in the right direction. Still wouldn't point that out. Defensively, we did not get to Joe Burrow as much as the other teams that defeated the Bengals did. In both losses for the Bengals, Joe Burrow was brought down more than 5 times each time, 7 and 6. So what does that mean? I don't know. The Dolphins need to get more pressure on Joe Burrow to, they were able to put pressure, not enough to bring him down. He was able to get the ball out a lot. So those are unfortunate things. And they let one wide receiver beat him, but it almost became 2 with Jamar Chase almost starting to pick up speed, especially with Xavier Howard going out. So the depth at corner in the secondary is not looking well. Trust me, I love the guys we have out there, but can't wait for Byron Jones to come out for the PUP list and hopefully start immediately against the New York Jets. Because if not, things can start going downhill very fast for this Dolphins team because the depth at second and in the corner position is a weak point. It's very unfortunate, but at healthy, Dolphins secondary could be one of the better secondaries in the league. Hopefully, Xavier Howard goes all good, and Byron Jones can get off the PUP list and hopefully be able to play. Real tough. That's pretty much it. Let's look forward for the Miami Dolphins while we're at it, because right now we are 4 games through a season. Normal seasons in a 16-game season will be a quarter through, but coming up in the next 4 games, the Dolphins will face at the New York Jets, host the Minnesota Vikings, host the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, and then beat at the Detroit Lions, and then follow it up with at Chicago, host the Browns, and then finally hit their bye. So I believe after the 10th game, they will have a bye week. So week 11, bye week. If the Dolphins can manage to hopefully get through this stretch of possibly Tua being out, hopefully he's for sure out for the Jets game just because I don't want to risk anything else happening to him between now and the Vikings game. Hopefully he can return by then. If not, definitely want to see him suited up for the Steelers game if everything is all well. Aside from that, Lions is a possible win, Bears is a possible win, and Browns could be a possible win without Tua. So just looking forward there. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully the Dolphins can, figure out the offense with Teddy in there, and hopefully he can limit his mistakes. So those are just some things to take away from this game. And aside from that, I was really happy with what I saw from the Dolphins today. Just with Tua going down, it just really just deflated the team, honestly. But they fought and they tried to keep themselves in the game. Just wasn't enough. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully Dolphins can have a bounce back win next week against the New York Jets. Aside from that, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.